We weren't allowed to shower. Wear certain clothes or makeup.
Forced to do extreme workouts without any food or water.
What was I supposed to do? What choice did I have?
I kept telling myself to suck it up. It'd be over soon.
I was so humiliated.
I felt helpless. Ashamed.
I would die if anyone found out. It was the worst day of my life.
I just remember. I didn't sign up for this.
I just wanted to die.
From images immortalized in popular culture to hushed accounts of those who've endured it firsthand, hazing is still an unfortunate reality in today's society. All too often, it's only when tragedy strikes that the real horrors of hazing are exposed. Hazing is any activity involving someone joining or participating in a group that humiliates, degrades, abuses, or endangers them, regardless of a person's willingness to participate. Typically associated with collegiate-level sports and fraternal organizations, widespread attempts have been made to halt and condemn the practice of hazing across university campuses nationwide. But the problem of hazing is by no means limited to college campuses or the Greek system. In fact, recent studies have shown that 47% of university students were hazed while still in high school, and almost half of high school students belonging to school groups were hazed. Hazing exists in a wide range of education-based activities, such as athletics, ROTC, performing arts, band, and more. But also may occur in a broader level known as class hazing, where upperclassmen initiate freshmen into high school itself. According to a recent study, the most commonly seen behaviors in high school hazing were being forced to associate with specific people and not others, singing and chanting not related to a game or event, being yelled, screamed, or cursed at by other members of the group, required participation in a drinking game, sleep deprivation, mandatory tattoos or body piercings, forced consumption of large quantities of non-alcoholic beverages, exposure to harsh weather conditions without proper attire, and forced consumption of alcohol to the point of getting sick or passing out. Although some types of hazing may seem worse than others, hazing is wrong and intolerable in any form because of its degradation and abuse of power. Even seemingly harmless types of hazing can spin out of control and often result in riskier forms of hazing as time goes on. Recent data suggests that hazing has become increasingly more violent over the years, with more incidents of physical and sexual abuse. And the trauma of beatings, assault, and alcohol abuse is more than just physical, with powerful emotional and psychological effects as well.
In male groups, it may be more physically aggressive. In female groups, females band together to haze or to shame the person who's trying to get into the group. But realizing what you've done later on results in sadness and profound regret for the bully as well. But for the victim, there's depression, loss of appetite, loss of ability to really socialize fully. But the greatest effect of hazing is the sense of shame, that you were forced to do these things that were contrary to your sense of integrity, and that you did it to belong to the group. And then there's a lot of damaging self-hatred.
I sink into this depression. Everything, obviously does not have the brightness that I used to. My future seems uncertain. I just sink in this really bad depression, and I stopped functioning as well as I could.
In response to the hazing crisis, most institutions have adopted anti-hazing policies. Students, as well as faculty, coaches, and athletic directors who knowingly enable hazing to occur are thereby subjected to disciplinary measures such as suspensions, expulsions, and forced resignations. Zero tolerance policies are best, ensuring that hazing in any form or degree will be punished to the fullest extent. Hazing is also illegal in all but 6 states in the U.S. Some states, like New York, have strict laws to criminally punish offenders, while others, like Minnesota, also make it easier for victims to find justice in civil suits. Regardless of a state's anti-hazing laws, activities often associated with hazing may still have implications of their own. For example, underage drinking, substance abuse, physical and sexual assault, or even wrongful death. If you think hazing promotes group bonding, think again. Hazing separates groups into different categories and ranks. If group bonding is truly desired, there are much better, more positive strategies. Try raising money as a group, hosting charity drives or community service projects, having group dinners and award ceremonies, anything where the group is working towards a common goal. And if you fear breaking certain traditions of your particular school or group, just remember that hazing is never a requirement for participation in any education-based activity or sport. It's almost certainly against the law. But if in doubt whether or not a group activity is hazing, ask yourself the following questions. Is alcohol involved? Will current members refuse to participate with the new members and do exactly what they're asked to do? Does the activity risk emotional or physical abuse? Is there risk of injury or question of safety? Do you have any reservation describing the activity to your parents, teachers, or coaches? Would you object to the activity being photographed for the school newspaper? If the answer to any of the questions is yes, the activity is most likely hazing. If you or someone you know is involved in any type of hazing, do the right thing and report it. Whether it is to a parent, teacher, or coach, in person or anonymously, just tell someone. It's never too late to make a difference.
Thank you, Ms. Kasich. So, does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Were you ever hazed?
Yes, I played lacrosse all through high school, and sadly my school didn't have any sort of official anti-hazing policy back then. As one of the few freshmen on the varsity team, some of the older players thought it necessary to teach me some respect. Funny thing is, it did just the opposite. I didn't look up to those guys, I didn't trust them, and I clearly never respected them. Respect can't be taught, it must be earned. Unfortunately, I didn't really understand that at the time, and as it often goes, when it came to be my turn to do the hazing, I willingly accepted it as my right, my duty. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it's the actual reason that I'm here today, warning and pleading with you to stop and think about the choices you make, and if it's really worth the consequences that those choices may bring. As a victim of hazing, I had some pretty painful experiences, but as bad as they were, nothing compared to the grief, shame, and guilt I feel every day knowing that I had a part in a young man's death. Without going into any detail, I'll just say this. Alcohol is dangerous enough by itself. You combine it with stupid pranks and childish behavior, and accidents are bound to happen. Yes.
What I don't get is that if you knew how bad hazing was, why would you do it to somebody else?
That's a really, really good question. I would justify it as saying that's just the way things are. That's the way they've always been. I suffered through it and came out all right. Now it's my turn to have some fun. But it wasn't all right. And as it turns out, humiliating and torturing people isn't fun. It takes a tremendous lack of self-esteem to berate and abuse people that way.
Like bullies.
Absolutely like bullies, yes. A low self-esteem is at the root of any type of abuse, whether it's bullies, hazers, or any type of abusers. They all have that in common. Even if they don't realize it, they're putting other people down to actually try and lift themselves back up. And the problem is, and I know this firsthand, is that you just end up feeling worse about yourself. It's a vicious cycle for both you and your victims, who are ultimately more likely to become abusers themselves. An added danger of hazing, however, is that when people come together as part of a group, they do things that they would have never thought of doing alone. So before I go, I would like to ask all of you to make a pledge to take a stand against hazing, bullying, and any other type of social behavior that threatens the safety and respect that you all deserve. Of course, it's up to you whether or not you sign. I'm not going to force you to do anything. But remember, participation in school activities is not a right. It's a privilege. And you always have a choice.
It's not even that important. It's just kind of...
Hey guys, how was class?
Okay, we had a guest speaker.
It was pretty stupid.
Was it?
Disagreed. I thought he had some good points.
Yeah, whatever.
You want to go? I'm starving.
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, hang on a second. You're not thinking about changing our plans for the weekend, are you?
Actually, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Come on, man. You're not gonna let that guy scare you.
I mean, think about it. If you really think about it, it's dumb. I mean, what's the point?
Look, man, no one's gonna get hurt. There's no alcohol involved. Nothing bad is gonna happen. Just some good old-fashioned fun.
Doesn't really matter what you call it. We're still talking about hazing here.
Shut up.
I mean, it's not worth getting suspended or getting kicked off the team. You're really gonna try and lose your scholarship? For what?
Guess you're right.
You know I am.
Luke, are you ready?
Yeah. And besides, I got better things to do with my time. Come on.